everybody, and welcome back to another episode of From BA to Broadway. You know who it is? It's Mr. Brennan John Stefanik the First, and I'm bringing you your general programming reminders. Folks, every Monday we are here with the main episode. Every Wednesday we are here with our mini-series In the Spotlight. And coming up soon, we might have a special little surprise, so keep a look on our Instagram page, just saying. But that's enough about us. Who cares about us, folks? Today I have with me the one and the only Miss Sarah Hogewood. Sarah, what is going on?
What's going on?
I am literally so happy to have you here right now. Welcome to the pod, finally. It's been a long time coming.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Sarah, who are you and what the heck do you do?
I'm just a girl.
She's just a girl.
That's right. Thank you for jumping on that.
Absolutely.
I work in theater.
Yeah, you do.
So that's why you have me here. I do not have a BA, unfortunately.
We haven't gotten to that question.
Oh.
It's just, who are you? What's central? Unless that's central to your
That's
being.
central to my being, I think.
That's one of
I'm so jealous. Like, you have a BA, I don't.
That's one of your first fun facts when anyone asks.
No BA.
No BA, just BS.
Just
Oops.
BS
Oops, oops,
100% of the
oops.
time.
Sarah, how do we know each other?
How do we know each other from Danny, right?
We know each other from Danny.
Okay, yeah, and I listened to his segment on their podcast.
Friend of the pod, Danny Solly.
Friend of the pod.
Folks, we are actually recording live in Danny's bedroom right now as a prank. Danny did not make his bed. It is a mess in here.
It's so embarrassing.
I cannot believe.
I'm just
but
rubbing my butt all over his stuff.
That's exactly right. I'll send pictures. I'll post them in stories, so check it out. Sarah, do you have a degree in theater?
I do. I have a BFA in drama.
You said that so solemnly.
Right. Well, I have a BFA in drama, but I majored in musical theater.
Okay.
That's how we do it at NYU Tisch.
Gotcha.
Name drop. Yeah, we all get BFAs in drama, but I technically majored in musical theater at the new studio on Broadway.
Amazing. Okay. Sarah, you are also a playwright.
That's true.
Did you study that in school?
Not really. I mean, what I liked about NYU, I guess I don't have a BA like you,
Listen,
but
that's the point of the show.
I liked that we had a pretty well-rounded education outside of the 3 days of conservatory training that we do.
Yes.
So I do feel like I know how to read and write. I'm still learning.
Fantastic. Literacy is important. I can't wait to get that sometime. Famously can't read.
Famously can't read. Brendan. You need to edit this out. We have to start over.
Oh, my God.
Okay, getting back on track here. No, I do not really have any sort of degree in playwriting. I write as an actor.
Wow. Yeah. Actors who write.
Actors who write.
Get more of them. Sarah, what has your journey been? Where did your passion for theater begin? Also, where are you from? All that jazz.
I'm from
take
Raleigh,
it from the
North
top.
Carolina. Yeah, let's take it from the top. I'm from North Carolina. So if you hear a little twang, that's why. Worse when I'm drunk, but I'm working on it.
And she's trashed right now.
And I'm trashed right now. Yeah. No. Healthy living. Be mindful. And I started with a ballet background, actually. So I was doing ballet. I was singing in the choir at church. Did my first professional play, if you will, when I was in 5th grade. And I got to miss the standardized testing that we were doing in school.
Nice.
So, loved it ever since then.
Listen, folks, we here on this podcast are against standardized testing. Goodbye. So that was your first professional gig?
Yes.
Incredible.
But yeah, then when it came time to apply to colleges, I was so close to the other life path. Like I had committed to UNC Chapel Hill, and I was gonna, maybe do like a little minor or something in dramatic art and go to law school.
Yeah.
And like that was my path. And I think about that person all the time. I was so serious about what sorority I was gonna be in. Like that was so important to me. And then I ended up getting into Tisch, and it was like, okay, this is the decision.
Yeah.
It's been made. So
wow, what a different life you could have led.
I know. It's crazy to look back and think like we really do make kind of a huge, it's not like you can't pick up and start over, but we kind of make this huge decision as a 17-year-old.
There's so much pressure put on you to do that too, we're just stupid kids.
Well, I was a stupid idiot kid. I was like, if I audition, that'll help me get into college.
Yes.
I'm going to like supplement my application with singing, dancing, and acting.
Exactly.
And I guess it worked because I went to NYU, but like, and maybe I wouldn't have gotten in regular. I don't know. But like, that is why I'm here.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go to college.
Because you wanted to go to college, which a lot of people do. And
Valid.
some people don't. And for those who don't,
School
cool.
of Life is so valid.
The School of Life. It's free. Whoa.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so you moved to New York City at the
ripe old age of 18.
Crazy.
Yeah, so this is I've been here for 10 years.
Oh my God.
If you count like a year on tour and 4 years of college, which I do.
I would say sure.
Because I was subletting out my room, but I was still paying rent. Yeah. So I've been here for 10 years.
What tour were you on?
I've done 4.
Holy macaroni, Batman.
Tours. I was the original Miss Frizzle in the Magic School Bus musical. Thank you very much.
That's amazing.
Yes.
What a great role for you.
Thank you. I loved it with all of my heart.
As you should.
I got to go to Dubai with that show.
Whoa.
Much later, which was really cool.
Was this right out of school?
Yes, right out of school.
Incredible.
I booked a cruise, and I was so naive, and it was such a pre-COVID different time.
Heard.
Like right before I graduated, I booked this cruise. And for some reason, I was like, oh, I just got my apartment and I just graduated. I'm just gonna wait and see like what else I get. I'm gonna give myself the summer to audition and see if I get something else. And I ended up getting this opportunity, which got me my equity card and was just such an awesome role and working with the writers. And, it was so cool. So I was happy with that decision, but I wonder if that would be stupid in today's world. Like,
what a phenomenal question. I think I say no.
Like, just do what you want to do and don't do what you don't want to do.
Also, like, especially right after graduating college, it is nice to establish like a little bit of a foundation, especially, I mean, you were in the city, yes, but like being in college, I think life in college is just so significantly different from life outside, just in terms of convenience and schedule and work necessity and survival in all of those regards, that I would never shame someone from just like taking a hot sec to like say, hey, I'm officially an adult in the world. Hey, what does that mean for me?
Really
Before we just did a cruise ship episode a couple weeks ago with my friend Greg, who worked on Disney cruises, and like we talked a lot about how like being on a ship for so long can kind of detach you from life and reality a little bit, because communication can be so scarce. So like, especially I think coming out of college and passing on a cruise ship is so completely fine and valid, Is
it bad that I've passed on 3 now?
No, not at all.
But nothing like Disney,
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm sounding so, I'm like, maybe we should not say this. But
no, absolutely.
It's never been because I just didn't want to go. It's like, it has so happened in my life. Every time I've booked a cruise, I've booked something else on land right after.
There you go.
And I've always had like a life reason to be like, I really want to be able to jump in a plane if I need to and go home or whatever with like family health and things like that. So, but I recognize a cruise is such a great way to make money.
Of course. Yeah. And like, you got to trust your gut,
Yeah.
When in doubt, follow what you feel. And it seems like you did.
Yeah.
Okay. So you hopped on that magic school bus.
You drove
it all around the world.
Yes. And that's where I also fell in love with multi-generational theater.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, so now I've done a lot of little gigs hither and yon with TheaterWorks USA, which is a company I really love. Also, Inside Broadway is another amazing place to work. That's an equity contract as well. I did a George M. Cohen review tour just around the city with them. 2 really amazing companies.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
I love that. So you were booked and blessed right out of the gate.
That's true.
Let's put it out there.
Yeah.
She's a talented person, y'all.
I don't know about that, but I went to the right things and met the right people at the right time.
And that's so important.
And Miss Frizzle was special.
They always say it's about who you know and all that jazz, but it really is sometimes.
It is. And I also am like pro EP. Like that was the summer. I was like, okay, I'm walking away from this opportunity. I'm going to work my one and only restaurant job I've ever worked. And when I'm not doing that, I'm just going to get up and go. I was non-equity at the time and like just see what happens. And I mean, originally that was just an open EPA that I went to. Katie Davis was a director on my resume from college who pinged and had worked with that company. So that's what got me on the callback journey.
Amazing.
So shout out to director Katie Davis.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, like, don't count yourself out of opportunities. Just get up and go
For sure.
to those open calls when you're non-equity. And I don't know.
If you got the time, get out there, you know? What do you have to lose? Nothing.
And I had no agent at the time either.
Mhm.
So I was just flying by the seat of my pants.
Do you have an agent now?
I have an agent now. They are great
Mhm.
commercial agents based in my hometown of Raleigh, North Carolina.
Wonderful.
So yeah, also if you're hearing this and you're a New York agent, I gotta fly to Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta, Charlotte, and Raleigh are really great markets, but yeah, that's where my agency is based currently.
At what point in your journey did that come along?
Oh gosh, after Miss Frizzle, after any regional work I've done,
Mhm.
gosh, have I paid them for anything?
What?
Post-pandemic.
Heard.
Yeah.
Heard.
Post-pandemic. During, I want to say, Leading Lady Club, when that was right before that was going to go to Edinburgh, maybe.
Yeah. Sarah, what is the Leading Lady Club?
Perfect segue.
Hmm.
The Leading Lady Club is a feminist but still likable sketch show
Hell yeah.
that I wrote and continue to write.
Feminist, but still likable.
That's right.
She's brilliant, y'all.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
It sure is. I saw it.
You saw it?
I did. It
Oh,
was
thank
phenomenal.
you.
It genuinely was so phenomenal.
Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, quick brag.
Do
we won Best Comedy and the Audience Choice Award at New York Fringe.
Yeah, you
When
did.
we remounted it with some new cast members. We sold out 59 East 59th weekend preview that we did before Edinburgh
Mhm.
Fringe Festival, which was my first time in Europe ever. So it was an amazing opportunity. Cast was amazing. Crew was amazing. Loved it.
What an amazing experience. What was it like to be in a show in the Fringe? You know, I do bring this festival up way too much on this pod.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah. I loved my time there as a little study abroad
when
student.
When were you in Edinburgh?
That would be the summer of 2017, I want to say.
Wow.
I think I was there for 2 weeks during the festival then.
Wow.
Yeah. Magical time.
Magical.
Yeah.
Loved it so much.
Mhm.
Went back immediately the next year because, like, shockingly, an opportunity came up to just go back with a new play
Yeah.
the next year, which that was crazy. I loved it so much. I love the people there, the
Mhm.
energy, the willingness to just see plays and plays and plays and musicals and comedians
Yeah.
and plays and people trying new things, the talent, the amazing writing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's just, there's nothing like it.
What a beautiful environment and such a
Yeah.
beautiful city. And
Oh my
just,
gosh.
I would move there in a heartbeat. If there was opportunity that presented itself, I would.
Maybe, I don't know. It's a little dark and cold, and I wonder, I've
Yeah.
never been there when it's not the Fringe,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I wouldn't say no.
Yeah. I mean,
They're not like begging me to come, but
yeah, exactly.
if they were,
I'll
go.
Oh my God.
Let's
if
go.
anyone's begging me to go anywhere, I don't know.
yeah, that's true.
Twist my arm.
Twist my
I don't
arm.
know.
I'll go. I'll try it.
I love attention. Okay.
So true.
So tell us also about your second show this time around.
Yeah.
You're critically acclaimed.
Oh.
Rave reviewed.
Well, yeah, we sold out and we got a 5-star review from Fringe Biscuit, which, like, I'm just cunt struck. It is called The Things I Did While Waiting for You to Fall Back in Love with Me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a one-person show. Therapy was not enough, so I was the actor in the one-person show.
Yeah.
Just kidding. We didn't, there was no money to, like, hire someone else to do it.
Of
so
course.
I did it. And it was so fun.
Seems like
so
it was the
awesome.
right move for sure.
At least for that version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. You are a star. And listen, folks, if there's not work out there coming to your front door, make it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? Why the
That's
hell
true.
not?
That's a good reminder.
Hell yeah. So at what point in your theatrical journey did you start writing? Did this happen in college or was it?
I wrote in
After-
college, yes. I put up this piece. Well, we had this thing at NYU called Free Play, where during January, I believe, we would get together with groups and just put on pretty much anything, and it would be produced in, like, maybe this weekend of theater.
Great.
I believe that's Professor Donnie Lynn Fraser's idea, so shout out to her. So for one of our free plays, I wrote some sketches. One of them was called Inconvenient Woman, where it was basically this woman workshopping this text after something that many of us can relate to, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, happened to her at a party that was of the area that is gray.
Mhm.
And she's writing the text to her friend and then erasing it. And my genius friend, Bethany Eggleston, was able to sign it while I was like off stage reading the monologue.
Oh, that's crazy.
And that found its way in a piecemeal sort of way into the Leading Lady Club.
Yep.
So that still exists. But yes, so I wrote in college. I also wrote in high school. I wrote sketch comedy in high school as well that got performed. Some of it I would be really embarrassed, I'm sure, if that ever like resurfaced. It won't, but some of those sketches are pretty embarrassing at this juncture. But, at the time, I was really proud of it.
Folks, Sarah's going to put her original works on the Patreon. So if you want to see it, go check it out there. She's already signed on. She didn't even know. But it's
my
in the
original
fine print.
Sketch comedy.
Yeah, there we go. That rocks. What would you say? I mean, because you didn't have any like formal playwriting education in that regard, how did that journey kind of come along? Like, what were the lessons that you were learning along the way? How did you? Because like your work is good, Sarah. Like, sorry to.
I don't know.
I don't mean to inflate your ego, but like I have seen and read your work, and it is good.
I mean, I guess we learn the basics when we're in drama school. I do certainly feel like an imposter in all things, but certainly in playwriting. But at the same time, we read plays every day as actors. We know a lot about plays.
Yeah.
And I'm not pretending to be anything I'm not. Like, I'm writing for actors as an actor. So I do pride myself on, hopefully, the dialogue sounds the way that people speak. Is the feedback that I've gotten. And what has done well about my work is people are like, oh yeah, that's the way I would say it. Because I'm not really fussed with some of the conventional methods of writing. So, I mean, Leading Lady Club is all over the place in terms of like punctuation and capital letters. And these actors are so brilliant. Like, they got what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
All caps. They got what I was, like, that's how I write.
For sure. You write like an anxious texter.
Yes.
Yep. I know it near and dear. I'm very familiar.
Yeah.
That rocks. I mean, there's a lot of folks who are not trained, who are writing out there, who may not get it like that. It's not always intuitive. So kudos to you for like just going with your gut.
I don't know. Do you think I should get an MFA in playwriting or what?
No.
Okay. Well,
if you go through,
look, if they're begging me or like they'll pay me for it.
Yeah. Well, listen, if anyone's going to pay you for it, then you might as well, like.
I'll just keep going until someone like tells me that it sucks so bad.
Exactly. I mean, to this point, you have been quite successful in your playwriting. Like, your pieces are getting formed and published. And well, I don't know what publishing looks like in terms of that, but like your pieces are getting out there, which is like a feat in itself,
Thank you.
How did you kind of start to facilitate the world seeing your work?
Well, I think you've had her on this podcast. Caitlin McNeilage was intending to put up a show called The Leading Lady Club.
Okay.
Which basically she met with me and was talking about how she wanted to put up some kind of variety show having to do with the #MeToo movement and some other like modern, let's say, women's issues, etc. And I pulled out something I had on my computer, which was called The Things I Did While Waiting for You to Fall Back in Love with Me / the Ovary Play. And it was just this, I'm sure terrible at the time, but like.
That's the spirit.
This, weird thing. And she read some of it and she was like, well, that's too weird, but I love the way that you write.
Heard.
And she loved some of the sketches that I had in there. And so we just went from there. And originally I was writing that piece thinking I was going to be one of many comedians / actors / writers, putting something up into this variety show.
Yep.
And then I got really lucky because this producer essentially was like, no, I like all of them.
Yeah.
Let's keep all of them. So then I wrote
Amazing.
These Lotsie, I call them, that connected the sketches and built a through line. And then once we had actors, I fit the show to the specific awesome actors that we had.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got into it. That's how that got seen.
Amazing. And now it's out there in the world.
And
people know it. And people know you.
It is. My response to that is I went to Pearl yesterday for an ECC and a young woman who I didn't know was like, oh, I know you. And like pulled up this amazing image, which Tanya Gupta, who is the other executive producer of Leading Lady Club, created for that show and was like, oh, I know the show.
Amazing.
And I was like, oh my God.
That's
really
crazy.
Yeah. Being on the other end of that and meeting actors in that capacity was crazy and humbling and sad and happy.
I think it's also really nice for them to get to have that experience as well in like a common ground kind of situation, you know, like you are equals, you are on that playing field, you're at auditions together. Like that must have also been so nice for her in that regard, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. The way I felt with that was like, if I didn't write it, I would totally not have been cast. You know what I mean? Like we had so many submissions. Every single, like, this sounds like I'm bullshitting, but every single person that auditioned, I would have like fallen in love with.
Amazing.
Like I want to work with all of them. Everybody who came and did a callback, like whether they got a callback or not, like every single person who sent an initial submission, I watched and I was in love with. Because like, that's my play. I wrote it and you took the time, especially the people who learned the monologue or sides or whatever that I wrote. I cannot even describe like that, having the first experience of actors who I didn't know who were like applying for a job with my monologues. I was dying. Like I want to kiss them all on their little cheeks.
Yeah. Wow. What a special moment.
It was special, but also like they're in the callback. I mean, I don't know. It showed me how arbitrary and how unfair it all is, which is maybe freeing for actors. It's maybe just more frustrating. I don't know. I really dislike being on the other side of the table for that reason. Whenever I've been a reader, when I've been an assistant on casting, when I've been representing the play as the playwright on the other side of the table, it's so painful for me because I know exactly how it feels to be on the other end. And like, it's just so unfair, you know?
For sure.
But yeah.
But I mean, especially in that regard too, like you saw them, like everyone is talented. So I mean, folks, rest easy knowing that like there's only so many roles, but that doesn't mean that you're not talented.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's a place and a time for everybody. And like it's not, scarcity is a myth, I think.
For sure.
Theater. We're all just so lucky to be here doing this.
Yeah.
In some capacity.
I saw a video that was posted the other day of a class that was taken and a colleague that I've worked with before, Kirsten Wyatt, shout out to Kirsten. She's an absolutely brilliant actress and teacher in general. And she was talking about how it's so important to be really specific nowadays with what you're auditioning for and whatnot, because like so many people are talented in this city and there may be a show where you can play two of the roles for sure, but when they are casting, there's some people that just fit. It just fits, you know, so you have to be so sure about what that fit is, you know, and it's not saying that you're not talented, you know, like you just got to be smart about what you're picking to audition with and doing all this stuff to just show them that like, this is you, you know, in that regard.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a terrible auditioner.
That's the spirit. I definitely was, when I started auditioning professionally, I was a train wreck. I was a mess. I had no sense of self in that regard. And I didn't really know that that was a component of it, really. I was just kind of singing songs that I could sing. You know, it was like, I know this song. I don't have a huge repertoire. This is something I know. This is something that I can sing. And this is something that at this point in time, I can sing well. But I don't necessarily have a whole lot of emotional connection to it. I don't really know too much about it too deep down, you know. It doesn't necessarily fit the pieces, but I have it in my book and I can sing it. So it's that kind of thing. And like, I mean, obviously it wasn't getting me results and whatnot, but like I would get a call back every once in a while or whatnot, but it wasn't ever for anything that I was really passionate about or connected to. And as of late, I've started to kind of hone in on like who I am, you know, and what I bring to the table. I mean, like I'm an actor first, you know, I do feel confident in like my range and the ability to play so many different kinds of parts. However, right now, the way I look, the way I sound, the person that I am is so specific that I really try and be cognizant of that. And like even if it isn't inherently in a role, I always try to make sure I bring it to a role or an audition or sides or whatever, because you never know what they're looking for, A, and B, like, that is the most authentic performance that I can give. And that is what I will bring to the piece, but also the experience as a whole. You know, like, I'm a silly, fun man. Like, I'm a fun person to have in a community. Like, that is...
Oh, that's so true.
Thank you. I do feel confident with that at this point in time. So I'm like, that's what I'm trying to bring to you in your show. And if this is something you vibe with, great. And if someone else comes in and you may vibe with me, you may vibe with them even better. You know, they may do whatever, and that must be exactly what you saw in your brain in a way that resonates so true to your heart and whatever. And you pick them, and that's fine. I have no control over that.
Right.
So
yeah, what can you control and what can you not control?
So much you can't control.
Yeah.
You can control yourself, and that's it.
Right.
So you got to do it.
Oh, I'm inspired.
Wow. Listen, that's what I'm here to inspire.
Yeah.
I'm here to just touch the hearts and the minds of the masses and just start a theatrical revolution out there. Folks, take to the streets. Tell them who you are.
Tell them who you are.
Sing loud and proud. Oh, dear God.
So true.
Yeah. Do you have a type that you would consider yourself? Do you have a kind of genre that you gravitate more towards?
Everything.
Whoa.
Put me in everything. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think you, from what I have seen, you have done a lot of comedic work. You are a comedic person.
Yeah.
You're a hoot and a half.
Oh.
But I have also seen you do more serious stuff, which you are very capable and able to do. I'm curious what you seem to resonate the most with, or what you enjoy the most.
Oh, gosh. I wasn't prepared for this question.
Sorry to make you bare your soul.
I guess I needed your pep talk, because I do that thing where I'm like, oh, I'm an actor.
Mm-hmm.
I can do whatever.
Yeah.
I can frown.
Yeah.
I can smile.
I can laugh. I can cry.
I can cry. I can sing.
Yeah.
I can dance. But I don't know. Am I in my leading lady era? No.
That's completely arbitrary.
Am I a comedian? Yes. Sure. We got really good reviews on my comedic performance, so I'll take it.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Usually there's some darkness too.
Of course.
For me.
And dark comedy is some of the funnest work.
Right.
I love a dark comedy, you know?
Yeah. And I like to sing.
For sure.
So that.
And there's so much out there that would fit that description too.
You know, singing.
Mm-hmm. I've said this on the pod before, but like something I've also learned in some classes that I've taken here in the city is that, like, because there are so many people, even if you can do so much, it is also nice to go with what you're best at or what you're better than others at, because my teacher, Ryan Scott Oliver, who is coming on the pod next week, or soon, coming on the pod soon, he speaks of this as the lightning in the bottle, which is like, what can you do better than everyone else that is going to get you in the room, that is going to get you work?
Oh, yeah.
And then once you have that foot in the door, then you can say, hey, here's all this other stuff that I can do, you know? But first...
Okay, for me, that's my sense of I want to fuck my mom.
I'm going to need you to elaborate on that one.
Which is like a line in one of my shows.
Yeah.
It just means so much to me.
Okay. You see, you have to talk more about this,
and not
because
everybody
I know what you
way.
mean by this, because I know you. However, this is going to be quite perplexing for the masses out there.
So, okay, wow, now I don't even have to go to the actor's studio and spend any money. I get it. That's your lightning in the bottle.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
Can you please talk more?
Do you have any like roles for me? This has actually been really helpful.
Oh my God, she's insane.
I think I should be Nessa Rose. Or Glinda.
Great.
Or one of those, the nurse, or like Madame Morrible's understudy.
You just picked so many roles in the same show, which is kind of the antithesis
Well, I was thinking
of what we're saying.
Wicked. Like,
Yeah.
what's something that's going to be here forever?
For sure.
Okay, I want to be Madame Morrible's understudy.
Okay, great.
No, Madame Morrible, that's her name. Yeah.
That's your track.
Yeah.
Great. So there you go. You're going in for that.
Okay, done.
Amazing.
But yes, in my most recent show, the reason I say that is because my character goes through an existential crisis, to be or not to be style, after taking 100 milligrams of THC when she's not a drug person due to being a soprano. And she realizes that she's probably dead, and she's died without ever playing Galinda on Broadway.
Yeah.
And she rails at the audience, who in her mind is the NYPD, about how she would have been a really interesting choice for Glinda.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, she would have loved to play Nessa. And then she begins defending Nessa's position about how Bach doesn't love her back, and that's why she needs to capture him. It really, comes together in the story. I'm not really telling this right.
I'm
and
actually
she also has a real
enraptured right now.
A real Hamlet moment where there's this reading of Hamlet that suggests that the real reason he wants to, kill his uncle and la-di-da is because of him sleeping with his mom and that sort of Oedipal thing.
Yeah.
That is a real response to Hamlet that I found so interesting, specifically as writing for the lesbian experience. I was like, do I want to fuck my mom in the deepest parts of my soul? Anyway, I'm thinking that's what I need to bring to the audition room. So thank you for unlocking that for me. I don't want to fuck my mom though.
Yeah.
In real life.
That's the disclaimer. I'm going to insert that audio clip right after you said it the first time, maybe. Could be wise. I don't know. We'll see. But that was such a journey just took me on, and very enlightening and very brilliant, first of all.
Thank you.
Of your response to that piece and just that kind of thought process and what you brought to that. Incredible. First of all, is there a recording of this show anywhere?
So funny that you should ask.
Oh my God.
Because, we are moving forward with, a live audience recording co-produced. I got a whole new team. Co-produced by Broadway's Holly Gould.
No way!
Who was one of the original encouragers of this weird, awkward play.
Friend of the pod, Holly Gould.
So, and they were actually the one who was because I would love to keep moving with this play, maybe with more characters actually on stage, or is it something that's episodic?
For sure.
Because what do you do after you leave Edinburgh French? What do you do? And Holly was the one who had the idea of how we would film it and all of this stuff. So stay tuned.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That I feel like is something that needs to be out in the world.
Oh.
So
if anyone can get a little laugh out of this, that would be great.
Absolutely. And listen, you let me know. I'm going to blast it on this platform as much as I can because incredible. Pop off. That's so exciting. I'm oh, wow. Okay, great. Where did the thread go? It's in my brain
where did the
somewhere.
thread grow? Sorry.
No,
what characters and type we are. And I think we landed for me on some sort of cover understudy for Madame Morrible.
Yes.
Craig Burns, if you're listening.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I do think that I would say, based on everything that you have just said, you do have a clear understanding of who you are and what you bring to the table. And I don't know if it's bad for me to assume, but I would assume it has come out of a lot of your writing that you have discovered that.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you say that?
I would say you're right.
Amazing.
Yeah.
More people should say that I'm right.
I think you're right.
Whoa. Stop.
I'm wrong more often than I'm writing, and still often wrong.
Play wrong? No.
Play wrong.
Play right.
Oh,
I think that's the episode title.
Play wrong, play right. Oh, so true.
Oh, okay. So I guess in that vein of you getting your recording too, do you have any advice for people in the city or out there in the world who are writers and want to see their work done? Or before we even get to that, are there any steps that you should take before you start trying to get your work completely out in the world?
I would say you have to start before anyone's asking you for it, which I guess is true with acting too, right? We're rehearsing things in our room before we ever have the packet and the callback or, whatever it may be. Certainly I wouldn't have had the opportunity to go take Leading Lady Club if I didn't have something already just that nobody asked me for. I just, was miserable sitting in my room writing. So I think you have to make the piece of art initially before, unfortunately, you're getting paid for it.
Yeah.
You're in between your gigs and your survival job and la-di-da. So you really have to be a self-starter in that way, I think, especially with writing.
That's the time for the passion pieces, you know? Because once you're getting paid to do all this stuff and asked to do all this stuff, like you might not have as much control. So like
Totally.
while you have it in your heart, get it on the page.
Totally. Yeah. I think it's a lot easier for me to just be an actor.
Yeah.
In terms of like emotionally, like as an actor, I know we've just been talking about how you bring yourself to everything, which is 100% true. But there's some anonymity in like, this is somebody else's words, this is somebody else's direction. I'm just an employee here.
Yeah.
And also like nobody knows what you're making Suddenly Seymour about, or, you know, whatever
sure.
it is that you're seeing. I just picked that because I'm looking at you and I'm just assuming here. But, you know, whatever. And it can change day to day, right? Whereas when you've written something, it doesn't really belong to you anymore. And you just have to stand out there with your arms wide open and take it. And whatever the response to it may be, I think it's you feel it, at least I do, much more deeply. So I'm lucky that these two things I've put out have had good reviews.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I probably wouldn't keep doing it, which is bad advice. Keep doing it.
For sure.
You have to make stuff that you love.
Do you find it tough to kind of give it over in that regard? Like, is this child of yours, like, giving that to others to kind of then decide what happens with it? Is that a tough thing?
I was really afraid when we took the solo show to go be performed both here and in Scotland. I was so afraid just of the title, which I wanted it to be called something else. And that's how, specifically Holly Gould, but many people were like, then that's how you know it's the correct title. Because I say the things I did while waiting for you to fall back in love with me. And the response is pretty much always, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think also with a solo show, the lines are so blurred for the audience, especially if they know you. They really want it to be an autobiography. And spoiler alert, this is not.
Yeah.
You know, of course, everything you write comes from your experience, but this is about a fictional character.
For sure.
I don't want to fuck my mom, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
I think it was really scary. And I think I'm really lucky that I got 5 stars and that I got a really good response. And I posted every single review that I could find, whether they were, you know, sort of mixed or totally positive.
Yeah.
Anyone who took the time to come see the show and anyone who wrote something about it, I tried to credit. I have it on my, you know, Instagram or whatever. But I think it definitely would have been really painful if it had totally flopped. And there's something really scary also about, because it was a solo show, I had such great collaborator. My director, Jenny Hughes, was fantastic. But there is definitely an element of like, are people going to come to this and be like, all work, no play makes Jack a dull boy? Like, it makes no sense. I don't know. So, yeah.
So for those folks out there that are starting to do these works, they have written their piece, you know, they're in that before phase of like trying to find a producer or what of all of that. Like, are we doing readings? Are we doing, how are we getting the ball rolling? That kind of stuff. Who are we getting involved? What input are we taking and what are we not taking?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. I mean, I love to do an initial read with like a BFF in the living room.
Hell yeah.
Shout out Danny Solly once again.
Solly.
And we did little readings of Leading Lady Club, just us, you know, bringing in another collaborator, Ellie Handel, Allison Leon. Yeah, and then it just gets bigger and bigger from there. And I think you have to take it and leave it, some of the feedback that you get. It's true.
Heard. Is that tough too? I would imagine.
I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to being stubborn, but mostly, especially with my now 2-time director collaborator, Jenny Hughes, like she is right. She's pretty much always right. Not always, but mostly she's right about the script.
Yeah.
And so when she wants to change something, mostly, unless I have the impulse to like really, really fight it and I'm right, I'm just like, yep. Especially once we kind of start to lock things and I'm working with her as an actor on a script, whatever she has to say is right.
Heard.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that might also be different when someone is not performing in their own work.
That's
but like,
true.
Especially when you were doing all these things, like you have so many hats to keep track of too.
That's true.
That might be easier to relinquish in that way. But
yeah, and there were things like with Leading Lady Club that I sometimes would just let go and didn't fight for, and things that were cut. And I was like maybe I could have. I tend towards no backbone when things are getting put up with a producer and a cast and a director. Whereas if I'm in an earlier stage, I might be like, no, we need this scene here.
Is that a personal thing to you as a person, or is that something that playwrights?
I mean, I do think at the end of the day, it's like, who's paying for this?
Understood.
And the person who's paying for this is right.
Understood.
And I can always add a scene back when I get home
Yeah.
from that particular project. Oh my gosh, this is sounding like there was something. I'm just thinking of a specific scene that made the show too long, or, you know,
Heard.
little things here and there that are probably going to come back. But yeah.
That's, first of all, also kudos to you for like being able to put the pride aside for that kind of thing.
Oh, that's one place, like 100%. Like everybody else is right.
Yeah.
If you're paying for the show, you're right.
Wow. You heard it here first, folks. Capitalism wins.
Capitalism wins.
This is sometimes you got to give it a capitalism if you're directly profiting from it, is what I've learned from the United States of America.
Although nobody's profiting from theater, really.
Ain't that the truth?
I mean, unless the aforementioned Wicked, which is why it's my example. Like, there's something so cute and adorable and beautiful and full of heart. Like, no matter what side of the table you're on, like, there are so many easier ways to make money. None of us are making money from this. We're not getting rich from doing theater. We all love it.
Yeah.
You're gay and you love theater.
And that's it. Those are the only two prerequisites to becoming an actor.
And you love theater and you don't care about money.
If you're straight and you hate theater, then get out of this business. Why are you here?
No hate to the straights. No hate. My parents are straight, so.
Oh, understood.
Yeah.
Understood. God bless.
Thank you.
Oh my God. What a lovely, delusional time that we have together. We really do.
Just shooting the shit.
Is there anything that you wish that actors, #actors only, knew about playwriting and kind of that art and that work?
Yeah, well, I have advice, which is if you are auditioning for something and you have the time and they give you the option of, I mean, just this is as, you know, we watched like thousands of submissions for my play. And the people who took the time to do the monologue that was provided, at least on my end, I was like, at the very least, I'm obsessed with you and I'm going to watch you beginning to end.
Yep.
Otherwise, I mean, my general self-tape note is like, put it all out there in the beginning because, you know, not everybody is going to watch more than a few seconds, unfortunately.
Understood.
But it did really make a difference when people put the material on tape and were clearly like auditioning for this piece instead of sending the rote, like, you know, monologue that you send for everything and no cover letter and whatever. But I get it. I'm an actor too. Like, I also sometimes don't have time and just
for sure.
Boop, boop.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, I am always one who says that, like, if you are attending a university or some kind of program that allows you to take classes in other aspects of the theater, whether it be directorial, technical, all that kind of stuff, production-wise, I always recommend it if it's not going to cause you a wild amount of stress, because I think that is what makes really well-rounded, well-faceted collaborators, and those are usually the easiest people to work with because they know the other side of the coin too. Yeah. So I would imagine that, like, the knowledge of the playwright and the process and the trusting of the text in whatever ways is probably something that everyone should know if they have the opportunity to, you know?
It's just dawning on me that you asked about training, and I'm like, basically my whole training from New Studio is in like how to collaborate with new musical theater writers. We have this collaboration with the writing program at NYU grad school, and I've just continued to do that. And so, like, I'm used to being the actor working with the writer.
For sure. I mean, it's important. And like, I also love those programs where they are like, this is going to be, we're going to bring both worlds together, because it is, especially before you are entering the real world, it's a nice taste of like that collaboration. I mean, it's so easy for people to get in their own lane, in their own track, and only worry about themselves. And that's when you're sitting at Tech Week and everyone's fucking pissed off and everyone's out of their mind antsy because they're ready to just go home. And it's because nobody knows how long each individual thing takes, you know? So it's...
Have you ever been on headset for like a tech process?
I have not. I've never been on a headset. I have been in many a production meeting. I have been doing last minute alterations and last minute designs and all that kind of stuff. And it is just so enlightening to kind of like peel back the curtain and see that kind of stuff. Also, like, I feel like always in Tech Week too, with any production meeting, it is never about the actor. It is always about no one is ever mad at the actor. Everyone is mad at everyone else in the room for some reason or another. And it usually comes from that lack of knowledge in the other's crafts and whatnot, you know? So I suggest everyone or just educate themselves. Like, go on YouTube University, y'all. Like, to look at what it is to be a lighting designer. Look at what it is to run wardrobe, you know, not even design costumes, but run wardrobe. Like, there is so much that goes into everyone's job that sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes there's troubleshooting that you don't understand because you don't know. So I think it'll make you a more well-versed collaborator, but also just a more patient person too, you know, because especially if you've tried it and you've been there, because let me tell you,
you've been there.
I've tried to hang a light before and it is the most terrifying thing I've ever done.
Terrifying. I watched someone get so injured
doing that. My God.
I was a spot operator, I should say, at New World Stages. And that was like one of my favorite jobs that I've ever done.
I love New World Stages.
I know, me too.
What a fun venue.
Oh gosh, it was so great to just be in the back.
Yeah.
And be on headset.
How did you find that? How did you stumble along?
That was through my TheaterWorks connection. Wow. They were putting up a show there. But oh man, you really learn a lot.
You do. It's important. Everyone, get out there. Learn about other people. You heard it here first.
Hashtag
Empathy's
empath. Crazy.
I'm just such an empath. It just makes my job so much easier.
Yeah, I'm picking up your energy.
Yeah, and I was picking up that you were picking up my energy.
Yeah. And then I'm picking up that you're picking up. We could do this all day.
We sure could. Should we?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I think the listeners
so I'm
would
picking
like
up that. No. Sarah, any other thoughts? Any other wisdom? Any other things that the people need to know?
If anybody ever wants to like record a monologue or read a play or do a reading or like hang out and be my friend.
Hell yeah.
My Instagram is at Sarah Hogewood.
Amazing. We don't even have to stick it at the end.
Yeah,
folks.
Don't stick it at the end. It's a little like annoying, a little braggadocious, a little millennial.
Of course.
But I don't get paid in money. I get paid in likes. So I like to get at least 12 on every post.
I don't get paid in money. I get paid in likes.
Sometimes I get like 14 or 15 likes on a picture. You know how it is.
Oh my God. Incredible.
No, but for real. Like
y'all just found a new collaborator.
Yes, please.
Hit her up. Your inbox is about to be flooded.
Oh,
Get
God,
ready.
Fingers crossed.
Well then, folks, thanks for tuning in with us. Listen, get out there, get writing, get reading, get acting. We're rooting for you. We are your biggest supporters, and you can be our biggest supporters by finding us on Patreon. Folks, that is patreon.com/BA to Broadway. Just your general reminder, we are not gatekeeping any vital information on there. That is just for silly, fun bonus content, looks into the pod, behind the scenes, behind the lives of everyone on it, So come through. There's a lot of fun stuff on there. And of course, our principal tier Patreon members get to choose the shows that Danny and I talk about on In the Spotlight every Wednesday. So if there's a show you're dying to hear us talk about, if there's a show that that is so niche that the world needs to know about it, hop on there and let us know. We would be thrilled to talk about it. As always, folks, you can find us on most social media at BA to Broadway. Like I said previously, keep an eye out because we got some fun, big things coming up that I really think everyone needs to tune into and get hyped about. So go check that out. Sarah, just for the sake of it, remind everyone how they can find you if you want to be found.
At Sarah Hogewood on Instagram.
Boom.
That's HOGEWOOD.
Bam. Sarah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This was an absolute delight. Oh. I learned so much, which I always love because that means everyone else gets to learn so much. You are welcome back here anytime. And until next time, bye.
Bye.
From BA to Broadway is created, produced, and edited by Brennan Stefanik, music by Dylan Kaufman, and cover art by Jordan Vongsithi.